with the meeting last September 10 is contained in our electronic kit. The committee emailed to all members last November 19. Do I hear a motion to approve the minutes of the said meeting?
Mr. Chair,
Go ahead.
I move to dispense with the reading of the minutes, and I likewise move for the approval of the same.
Having been duly seconded, the motion to approve the minutes of the last meeting is hereby approved. I would like to acknowledge the members present in today's meeting. We have the Honorable Ana Victoria Veloso Tuason, our Deputy Majority Leader. Ana, thank you for coming. And the Honorable Siti Amina Di Mapuro of the 2nd District of Lanao del Norte, Tong City. Comsec, can we recognize the resource persons present here today?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and good morning, everyone. We invited several government agencies and also professional groups in today's meeting. Among those present in order of appearance or of the arrival, we have Ms. Maricris Vines from the PRC Chemical Engineering. We have Mr. Miguel Guerrero, PRC for Architecture. Ms. Iris Garin from DTI. Yes, ma'am. And then we have Mr. Butch Madarang, the Executive Director of the Philippine Bamboo Industry Development Council. Morning, sir. And then we have Ms. Sonia Olivares, the President for the PRC Interior Design. Ma'am, maybe you can sit here. And then we have Ms. Joy Rico, acting DLLO for DBM. We have Mr. Jed Michael de Guzman, UAP, the Committee on Philippine Bamboo Project. Mr. Rico Cabangon, the Director of the DOST. We have Mr. Diego Santiago from the DepDev. And we have Hazel Mendez from CHED. That's all, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Comsec. Again, welcome to all our guests present here today. Thank you for coming. This morning, we shall deliberate on House bills promoting bamboo, a locally available material known traditionally for its use in the construction of houses, furniture, and fixtures, primarily in the rural areas. In local folktales, bamboo is used to symbolize the Filipinos' resilience, bending in the direction of the wind to survive and live another day. Bamboo has since been elevated beyond this image. In this era of climate change and environmental degradation, science has shown that bamboo might just save us, absorbing
twice as much carbon as trees in the atmosphere. It acts as a carbon sink, absorbing the environmental impact of air pollution. Over the past decades, inventors and innovators have shown that bamboo slats may be processed into engineered bamboo, giving it a more finished look, much like wood, paving the way for its use in high-end homes and commercial establishments, as wall panels, ceiling, etc. Moreover, scientific studies have shown that it has comparable or even superior tensile strength to traditional construction materials, opening the possibility of its utility in construction for structural use. I cannot overemphasize the importance of the measure for deliberation today. At present, engineered bamboo is basically used for cladding and other similar uses. We hope to go beyond its present use by instituting policies that lay the foundation for its use in the built environment, including structural foundational uses. Likewise, we are pushing for government
the biggest consumer of products, to use bamboo-based products for its furniture and fixtures. I look forward to a productive meeting this morning, and I encourage our resource persons to actively share your ideas on how we can further improve our bill and make it more responsive to our country's needs. Thank you very much, and good morning. But before we proceed, we'd like to recognize the Honorable Wilson Tontonco of the 3rd District of Masbate. Kong, thank you very much for coming. We shall now proceed to the deliberation of measures referred to this committee. On measures proposing to mainstream bamboo as a sustainable material for the built environment, as follows: House Bill numbers 157, 3577, 4329, 4982, 5234, and 5748. May we now call the honorable sponsors for their sponsorship remarks. We would like to call the representative Ana Victoria Veloso Tuason for her sponsorship remarks.
Mr. Chair.
Go
Thank you,
ahead.
Mr. Chair. In the interest of time, I move that the explanatory notes of House Bills 157, 357, 3577, 4329, 4982, 5234, and 5748 be adopted as the sponsorship speech for the said measures.
Okay, any second? So, having duly seconded, the explanatory notes of House Bills 157, 3577, 4329, 4982, 5234, and 548 are hereby adopted.
Now proceed with the resource persons. Comsec. So this will be our order of providing their comment on the said measures. We start with the government agencies, and then we the private sector and the
NGOs will follow after we are able to listen to the comments of the representatives of the government agencies. We start with the Philippine Bamboo Industry Development Council, Mr. Butch Madarang, the Executive Director. Mr. Madarang, you have the floor.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, my fellow and certified kawayan passionistas and bambuangs. Magandang umaga po sa kanilang lahat. On behalf of PBIDC, I express my full support
for House Bills number 157, 3577, 4329, 4982, and 5234, which aim to promote bamboo as a sustainable material for the built environment. These measures highlight bamboo's potential as a renewable, eco-friendly, and disaster-resilient resource for construction, infrastructure, and housing, while also contributing to climate change mitigation and local economic development. However, it is deeply concerning that these important bills have been bypassed. I will refer to the pending bills in Congress. In the 17th, 18th, and 19th Congresses, we strongly hope that the 20th Congress will prioritize these measures and finally pass them into law. Doing so will pave the way for sustainable development, support the bamboo industry, and create lasting benefits for the environment, economy, and Filipino communities. I am referring to support to House Bills number 1437, 2430, 2980, 3540, 4633, 2398, 2884, 3377, 4830, and Senate Bills number 294, 882, and 1389, collectively known as the Kawayan Act,
which seeks to establish the Philippine Bamboo Industry Development Research and Development Center and the Philippine Bamboo Authority. These measures are critical to institutionalizing the growth and sustainability of the bamboo industry by providing a dedicated body to oversee research, innovation, and development in bamboo production and utilization. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you, Mr. Butch Madarang. Just for the information of everyone, there's also a pending bill on the strengthening the Philippine Bamboo Industry Development Council, and the said measure is actually being deliberated upon by the Committee on Agriculture. But your position and your comment is duly noted, Mr. Madarang. We would like also to recognize the Honorable Gerald Galang, Vice Chair of the SDG Committee and representative of the 2nd District of the City of Valenzuela. Thank you, Kong, for coming. Now we'd like to hear the position of DepDep. We'd like to recognize Assistant Director Diego Luis Santiago. Director, you have the floor.
Good morning, Mr. Chair. Good morning po sa esteemed members of the Committee for Sustainable Goals. Magandang umaga po sa mga kapwa kong kawani sa gobyerno. On behalf of the DepDev, we manifest our support for the proposed House bills and the laudable purpose behind these. To note, under 2023-2028 Philippine Development Plan, the provisions of these House bills support various chapters. Chapters 5, Modernizing Agricultural and Agribusiness. Chapter 6, Revitalizing Industry. Chapter 8, Advancing Research and Development, Technology and Innovation. And Chapter 15, Accelerating Climate Action and Strengthening Disaster Resilience. Moreover, these bills likewise support our National Innovation Agenda and Strategy Document, or the NIASD, for 2023 and 2032, particularly under the third innovation priority area on food and agribusiness of Pillar 2, Competitive and Resilient Economy. At the DepDev Innovation, we just came from our Presidential Philippine Innovation Awards, where we've seen the business proposals, and we've seen how bamboo has been one of those thrusts used especially for MSMEs and smaller businesses. We note that we filed our position paper previously. While supporting the bills, we also take note of several comments which we feel would not go against the grain of the bills, but to support it, particularly for public procurement. We note that the provisions also addressed issues concerning the mandatory allocation or percentage allocation for furniture and fixtures. While this would be, as you said, Honorable Chair, earlier, that this would incentivize as well government as the best purchaser, and it would also be the best way to implement bamboo towards our public procurement. We note that this might serve as a problem for mandating all government agencies and with the supply of bamboo. So before we recommend pushing for the mandatory allocation, we hope that there would be required market studies. There should be a strong bamboo supply registry to ensure that once and if made mandatory, then there will be plentiful amounts of sources, possible suppliers to be able to produce these. Second, we also note that perhaps it is also timely. The recently passed new Government Procurement Act and its implementing rules and regulations has allowed more of a procurement focus on green procurement. We also note that certain LGUs have already started, if not institutionalized, their green public procurement acts. I mentioned Quezon City, for instance, and Pasig, in which they have incentives towards not having to go through public bidding or can go through direct procurement if the supply or if the project is based on sustainability, in which the bamboo industry is also included. We also strongly manifest our support towards exploring and further strengthening the entire framework, not just regulatory, but encouraging as well with technical capability, strengthening, etc., so that the end users here will be further capacitated. Finally, it would be also encouraged to explore, if not mandatory use, but perhaps incentivizing use. If we talk about the government, especially local government units, since we have noted in our position paper that it might be a bit cumbersome, no, to mandate or to immediately mandate that a certain percentage would be for for the procurement of bamboo products for furniture and fixtures. May we also encourage the exploration of an incentive based scheme. For instance, for the Department of Trade and Industries Committee, Cities and Municipalities Competitiveness Index, it could be a pillar that would incentivize LGUs to adopt bamboo within their programs and policies without necessarily mandating the same. Or perhaps with the Department of Interior and local governments seal of good local governance. We've seen how these pillars to be able to have this award or recognition galvanizes our LGUs and government agencies to innovate on programs and projects for these recognitions. Perhaps if we could incentivize first before mandating, we will not only allow a good transition towards adoption, but we will also be able to assist our stakeholders in seeing the myriad benefits for the bamboo industry. Baka po kasi kung imandato kaagad, for compliance lang, hindi rin makikita yung laudable goals of what these bills are seek to accomplish. But with that, DepDev manifests its support for this. Kitang-kita naman po kung gaano nakakatulong dyan sa sustainable goals natin. The thrust towards green businesses, green economy has also been apparent through the promotion of the provisions here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Director Santiago. Actually, it will not be a problem, but it will be a big challenge. Okay, thank you. Now we proceed with DOST, represented by Dr. Rico Cabangon. You have the floor, Dr. Cabangon.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and good morning to everyone. The DOST FPRDI expresses its strong support for the passage of the proposed measures, recognizing bamboo as a sustainable, renewable, and climate-resistant material that can play a vital role in advancing green building initiatives, generating livelihood opportunities, and protecting the environment. This is consistent with the Institute's mandate to undertake research and development on forest-based materials and products, including bamboo. Being fast-growing and abundantly available in the Philippines, bamboo holds great potential to reduce dependence on timber and imported construction materials while fostering local industry development. The proposed bill also complements DOST FPRDI's ongoing R&D initiatives on bamboo poles utilization, engineered bamboo technologies, bamboo treatment, among others. On the role of the DOST FPRDI on the proposed measure, we are mandated to lead in R&D, product innovation, and establishment of a comprehensive bamboo database. The Institute affirms its readiness and capability to fulfill this role, drawing from its decades of expertise and experience in the following: bamboo preservation and treatment technologies, development of engineered bamboo products for flooring, panels, boards, furniture, structural elements, among others, contribution to the formulation of the Philippine national standards for bamboo products, provision of testing services for the physical and mechanical properties, including durability, and now we have the fire testing facility for bamboo and other bamboo composites, and technical assistance, technology transfer, and training programs for bamboo enterprises and communities. Some recommendations on strengthening the bill. While the proposed bill is comprehensive, we respectfully offer the following recommendations to further strengthen its provisions. The target of, similar to the DepDev's comment, that the target of replacing 50% of wood-based structural materials with bamboo may face supply constraints in the early years of implementation. a phased or tiered approach. Example, 20% in 3 years with gradual increases thereafter, based on verified supply availability, may be more practical and sustainable. On the continuing professional development, we also may serve
Ms. Marie de Mesa Montes. Ma'am, thank you for coming. Our representative from 4K party lists. We also like to recognize the Honorable Adrian Michael Amatong, representative of the 3rd District of Zamboanga del Norte. Pong, thank you very much for coming. Now we proceed with the representative of the Commission on Higher Education, Ms. Hazel Mendoza.
Hi, good morning po, Mr. Chair, and to the members of the committee. So, we convey our support to the general intent of the measures seeking to mainstream bamboo as sustainable material for the built environment. However, Mr. Chair, we express our specific concern regarding Section 8 of the measure,
which mandates SCHED to immediately include bamboo utilization in the curricula and specifically requires that a minor subject of at least 2 units be offered regarding introduction of structural bamboo. So legislating this specific measure, a specific course or distinct subject may infringe upon the academic freedom of higher education institutions to determine what to teach and how to teach it. So we propose that this provision be subject to the academic freedom of higher education institutions, and we will just submit our official position paper with the proposed wordings, Mr. Chair. Thank you very much po.
Thank you, Ms. Hazel Mendoza. Now we will have the representative of DTI, Ms. Iris Garin.
Hi, good
Ma'am.
morning po, Chair. Good morning to the members. So the DTI supports the intent and proposed measure to promote and integrate bamboo in the Philippine structures. So we acknowledge that it provides assurance and supervision in the use of bamboo for construction of any building or structure in the country. However, the DTI notes its proposed role in conducting cost-efficient validation, certification of green products, and issuance of certificates of compliance in accordance with the applicable certification rules under the governing regulatory framework. Also, while the DTI may develop product standards for bamboo, cost efficiency validation and construction inspection are not within its core expertise. Given the volume of work and the number of construction projects nationwide, these tasks may require the establishment of a dedicated bureau or department with regional offices focused specifically on this function. Also, we at the DTI recommends close coordination with the LGUs to conduct inspection and address compliance matters. This is in regards or in relation to the National Building Code of the Philippines, which mandates the LGUs who has the LGUs have the authority to issue or deny building permits and oversee construction activities, including the evaluation of any construction, alteration, repair, improvement, or conversion of building or structure. So we recommend close coordination with the LGUs is critical to ensure the bamboo-based structure compliance. As for the fixtures and furnitures po, we also strongly support it. While the measure would strongly, it's significant, we also recommend in DTI that the implementation may be done in phases to allow a smooth transition and address market capacity.
Thank you, Ms. Garin. We have any member of the government sector which were not able to speak. Okay. So we'd like to call on the representative of the Department of Budget and Management, Ms. Joy Rico. Ma'am, you have the floor.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, members of the committee, your honors, colleagues in government, and everyone present in the meeting. We do not have a position paper yet, Mr. Chair, but we would like to manifest our initial observations and comments. So at the outset, we laud the intention of the bills to promote the use of bamboo and bamboo-based products with the end view of addressing pressing concerns related to sustainable resource management, environmental conservation, and the promotion of innovative technologies. As to the proposal mandating procuring entities to allocate a minimum of 25% of their annual fixture and furniture budget for the procurement of engineered bamboo and bamboo-based products, we respectfully defer to the comments and recommendations of the Government Procurement Policy Board, specifically its Technical Support Office, as the GPPB is the central body that sets strategic direction and makes policy decisions regarding all matters affecting public procurement. Should the bills be passed into laws, we suggest that the provision for funding requirements for the implementation thereof need to be incorporated in the budget proposals of the agencies concerned, and the inclusion of the same in the General Appropriations Act shall be subject to evaluation and authorization by the Congress. As to the Philippine Bamboo Industry Development Council, which was created pursuant to Executive Order Number 879, may we respectfully note that the general functions of the PBIDC under the said EO is the provision of an overall policy and program directions of the program for all stakeholders. Based on the existing organization and staffing standards and guidelines, a council is a policy-making body that is involved either in providing policy advice to another government institution or a high-level official, or develops governing principles and guidelines for vital societal concerns as aid to decision-making of implementing agencies. It may also conduct coordination of related programs and projects to guide efforts toward the accomplishment of set goals. However, a council does not engage in the provision, production, and service delivery related functions, as well as the implementation of programs and projects. Said tasks and responsibilities should be handled by the implementing line agencies and departments concerned, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Ms. Rico. We'd like to call on DPWH. Any representative from the DPWH? Mr. Oba, you have the floor.
Good morning, Mr. Chair. As of now, the department expressed its full support on the proposed House bill. However, the enumerated comments should be taken into consideration and to be included in the drafting of the proposed bill. Particularly
in the paragraph 5 of the explanatory note of House Bill 157, relevant government agencies and civil society groups who deliberate the bill should be named. And in Section 4 of both proposed House bill, the word incorporation in its general definition means the inclusion of something as part of a whole. Therefore, the adoption of the Bamboo Architectural Code in the Architectural Code of the Philippines may cause perplexity on the proposed of the existing code as its primary directive is for the regulation of the practice of architecture in the Philippines, whereas Bamboo Architectural Code's objective is to govern the design, construction, inspection, and maintenance of the bamboo used as architectural building materials. Furthermore, the selection of bamboo to be incorporated in the Architectural Code as the only sustainable building materials will also pose bias with others suitable vernacular building materials. No incorporation should be made. Instead, BAC should be created as an independent code. In Section 10 of both House bills, change the Philippine Building Code to the National Building Code of the Philippines, PD 1096, and include Batas Pambasa 344, Accessibility Law, and Fire Code of the Philippines in the name referral codes. That's all, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Oba.
Thank you.
before we proceed with our guests, no, with our resource persons, no, considering that we have several proposed measures and we really saw substantial and very significant suggestions, no, from the resource persons. We think that the technical working group would be the best route
in order to ensure that we really produce a quality measure.
Actually, this committee was able to have this approved in the 19th Congress. But this time, we think that since there are several suggestions that we feel are very important and needs to be considered, we need. I think that we need to create a technical working group to revisit the measures and at the same time incorporate the suggestions of the resource persons and of course the members, the suggestions of the members of this committee. Do I hear any motion to create a TWG?
Mr. Chair,
The Honorable Montes is recognized. Oh, sorry. Kong Ana, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move that we create a technical working group to further study and subsequently consolidate also the legislative measures subject of today's meeting.
Any motion? So, since there's a motion and it is duly seconded, the technical working group is hereby created. And
Yes, ma'am. Ms. Olivares, you are recognized.
I am representing PRC, Board of Interior Design. In all these deliberations, I never heard a mention of our profession, interior design. In creating a technical panel, please remember that we be a part of it, because we are considered under architecture, under other professions, but specifically kindly emphasize interior design. And if you don't mind, may I read our very short comment on 9144, which, number 1, section 3, letter G, it is suggested that interior design be specifically included in the definition of built environment. Interior designers work very closely with related professions already mentioned to develop a comprehensive built environment. In section 4, letter A, the Philippine Institute of Interior Designers, the accredited and integrated professional organization for professional interior designers in the Philippines, should be included in the composition of the Bamboo Structural Code Committee. In Section 8, to better approach the concept in a more comprehensive manner, the design and construction of bamboo furniture should be included aside from production. For example, the old designs of bulky furniture, bamboo furniture, are no longer suitable to the present realities and tastes. Spaces are smaller, calling for furniture of smaller scale. Unfortunately, designs have hardly caught up. Thus, the board supports the proposal to include bamboo as a subject area in the curriculum of built environment, and even courses like industrial design. Bamboo as a material should be looked at on multiple angles, not only from the point of view of commerce. Bamboo is also a product of culture, should be a program to gather, recover, propagate, and develop indigenous knowledge of identifying, curing, and working with bamboo as a building material so the Philippines will not have to depend on other countries' bamboo expertise. Towards this end, it may be beneficial to look at the best practices, lessons learned, and successes of the Philippine Textile Research Institute of the Department of Science and Technology in their development of tropical fiber and textiles. Bamboo should also be seen as an object of scientific study, experimentation, and development. Moreover, the board suggests that the Professional Regulatory Board of Chemistry be included in future consultations, specifically for sharing their expertise in processing and preservation of long-term usage. Interior designers patronize many consumer goods. Unfortunately, it is very challenging to find sources of good quality bamboo products locally. A steady supply chain must be established locally so that local interior designers can comfortably recommend quality bamboo products to their clients. Corollarily to this, perhaps a quality assurance mechanism can be developed and established for this. Lastly, bamboo should be promoted to the public as a sustainable, renewable, durable, reliable, and aesthetically pleasing material that is suitable for many different purposes, and it should not only target high-end markets, but also mid-range and lower markets with proper aesthetic supervision. That's where we come in. The board lends its voice in the development of bamboo as a sustainable material. We hope to see the day when the Philippines becomes a global source for construction materials, furniture, textiles, and for many high-value processed bamboo products that are in high demand in many global markets and not merely an exporter of bamboo raw materials. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms.
We hope
Olivares.
to be specifically mentioned.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank
Actually, for the information of, for your information, ma'am, in the 19th Congress, during the deliberation of the original bill, we have representatives from the interior design community. Thank you. But of course, you are always welcome to join the committee deliberation, especially during
most,
the
with
DWG.
great pleasure, willing to contribute whatever I've learned in the industry.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, but before that, we already created the technical working group. And before we proceed, we'd like to appoint Representative Ana Veloso Tuason to head the
TWG with concurrence of the members. And we will have the first technical working group we will have the first technical working group meeting on December 4 at 9. December 4, 1 p.m. For the technical working group meeting, we will send the corresponding invitation to all the resource persons and, of course, to the members of the SDG committee.
Go ahead, Mr. Madarang.
May I suggest po na please include in the TWG the member partner agencies of the Philippine Bamboo Industry Development Council if they are not have been invited here kasi maraming pong members ng PBIDC.
We have 6 national government
Yes,
agencies.
I think they are also.
Invited po ba? sila
Yes,
ngayon?
yes.
Thank you.
And for those who will not be included, I suggest that PBIDC can, between today and the technical working group meeting, I suggest PBIDC come up with its official position paper on this matter, so that in the interest of time and speedy disposition of this measure.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Madanang. Okay, so now we proceed with we'd like to hear the comment and suggestions of the members, the other resource persons. We'll start with Architect and Dean Sylvester Senyo, the chairman of the Green Architecture of the Philippines. Miss Dean Senyo, you have the floor.
Good morning, everyone, dear esteemed gentlemen and madam. So, we have prepared a position paper, particularly for House Bills 157 and 3577. Green Architecture Advocacy champions sustainable transformation of the Philippine built environment anchored in the trinity of sustainability, survivability, and self-sufficiency. So we believe that these papers support the goal of mainstreaming bamboo as sustainable construction material. However, to integrate truly bamboo into national policy and practice, we must address the loose ends in the current bills and recommend a unified strengthened framework. So we have identified the following specifically. For House Bills 157 and 3577, these two bills do not clearly assign a central implementing agency with enforcement authority over interagency collaboration. Multiple departments are involved but without defined leadership or accountability structures who shall coordinate among them all. Number 2, lack of strong monitoring and evaluation and M&E mechanism. Reporting requirements are vague and there are no performance indicators. So these are my proposals are to be added. There's no question with the current draft, but this has to be declared. This have to be declared in those House bills now. And there are no performance indicators or penalties for non-compliance, especially for procurement agencies and LGUs. For the education reform, as what CHED's representative said earlier, this has to be edited. So for existing curricula, the word shall will be changed to may. So this may be integrated as a specialization course. For the next PSGs, for the next policy standards and guidelines for both BS Civil Engineering and the bachelor's degree in architecture, at least 2 units of minor course Introduction to Structural Bamboo shall be included for both degrees, architecture and civil engineering. The fourth item is insufficient support for innovation R&D commercialization. Emphasis was being placed on traditional bamboo use and plantation development, with limited attention to scaling engineered bamboo industries, digital fabrication, or modular prefabrication. Number 5, over-reliance on quotas without contextual flexibility. So the mandatory 50% use quota for public infrastructure lacks provisions for site conditions, structural demands, and market readiness, risking token compliance rather than meaningful adoption. And number 6, the neglect of cultural reframing and public awareness. The narrative shift from permanent timber to material of the future requires public-facing campaigns, yet no dedicated provisions exist for long-term advocacy or community engagement. So these are the recommendations, dear Honorable Chair and Vice Chair. So to ensure the legislation's impact matches its ambition for House Bills 157, 3577, recommend the following enhancements. No? Number 1, designate the Philippine Bamboo Industry Development Council or PBIDC as the oversight and as program manager empowering stakeholders in House Bills 157, 3577 so that these stakeholders contribute harmoniously towards attainment of the aims of these bills. Number 2, add provisions for the development of a comprehensive monitoring framework under the PBIDC, which includes annual reporting mechanisms, baseline data, KPIs, and so forth. Number 3, the current House Bills 157, 3577 only mentions TESDA training for the farmers. So this is an addition. Creation of a free training program module under TESDA entitled Training the Trainers, Training on the Usage of Bamboo as a Building Construction Material. Faculty members will be sent to TESDA for appropriate training. Once they were trained, they can develop modules for integration for the applicable baccalaureate programs for civil engineering and architecture. The timelines have to be specified. Let's say 3 years now for training the identified faculty members and integrating practical bamboo construction education into architectural engineering curricula, including support for training of trainers and in teaching infrastructure. Fourth, DOST and DTI can be mandated to promote local fabrication hubs, strengthen support for bamboo innovation and industrialization. Mechanisms have to be explored and developed towards providing grants incubators for startups engineer bamboo, prefabricated systems, and in circular economy applications. Promote local fabrication hubs with DOS and DTI. Fifth, introduce flexible use targets with technical justifications. Instead of fixed quotas of 50%, allow for progressive targets, say 30 to 50% based on project scale, structural needs, and bamboo availability verified by an independent green building auditor. And lastly but not the least, institutionalize bamboo in national cultural narrative. Mechanisms have to be explored in enabling nationwide campaigns led by the Philippine Information Agency and DepEd to reposition bamboo as modern, aspirational, and patriotic, supported by media, exhibitions, and cultural grants. So, to close, a harmonized bamboo policy must go beyond quotas and incentives. So it must reshape national consciousness and infrastructure simultaneously. By closing legislative loose ends and fortifying this implementation, we can realize the vision as a Philippines where bamboo is not just used but celebrated as a symbol of sustainability, survivability, and self-sufficiency. That's all for Green AP side. Thank you.
Thank you, Architect Senyo. To our other resource persons, we'd like to hear your comments from Engineer Architect Miguel Guerrero from the from Architect Miguel Guerrero of PRB Architecture. Sir, you are recognized.
Thank you, Chair. The Board of Architecture supports the Bamboo Bill. We have sent our comments, recommendations, and position papers through PRC and has been submitted. So, like you guys say, I will dispense with reading it. But I'll just like to highlight one thing which is directly related to the PRC, no? Mandating that licensed professionals should actually sign and seal these designs of bamboo structures because they actually can affect public safety. So that is a very critical thing. I think it should not be like a hobbyist doing bamboo structures because then, you know, they will not follow the fire code, for example, etc. So I think that from our point of view, that is a very important component, which I'd like to highlight. We mentioned it in our position paper, but I think from our side, I think that's the most important thing. Now, all licensed professionals have to be involved with signing, sealing, and designing all bamboo structures because they are going to be used by the public. So with that, I'd like to give the comments to others. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Architect. How about from the PRB Chemical Engineering, from Engineer Maricris Viva? Ma'am, Fines.
Yes. Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Mr. Chair. So the Professional Regulatory Board of Chemical Engineering expresses its support to the House bills on the proposed Kawayan Build Act and the Bamboo Products Procurement Act. These proposed bills intersect strongly with the practice of chemical engineering, whose expertise is essential for the safe, sustainable, and innovative use of engineered bamboo. Number one, materials development and industrial processing. Chemical engineers contribute to formulation of adhesives, binders, and resins, chemical and thermal treatment of bamboo for durability, fire resistance, and pest protection, composite manufacturing processes described under Engineered Bamboo from House Bill 5234 Section 3F, and process optimization for efficient, low-emission production. Number two, standards, quality assurance, and certification. These bills mandates compliance with the Philippine national standards and building codes for bamboo products, Section 10 of House Bill 5234. Chemical engineer supports this through quality assurance, evaluation of volatile compounds, chemical leachates, and safety parameters, development of certification criteria for engineered bamboo and adhesives. Number 3, sustainability and life cycle assessment. Chemical engineers possess competencies in life cycle assessment or LCA, carbon footprint evaluation, waste minimization, and circular economy approaches and environmental compliance assessment required for sustainable bamboo production. To maximize impact and technical soundness of both measures, the following are respectfully recommended. Include representation from the chemical engineering profession in the development of referral codes, product certification standards, and PBIDC technical committees. Harmonize PBIDC functions across both bills to ensure unified planning, standard setting, and monitoring. Develop a national certification and product database of compliant engineered bamboo products to guide government procurement. Strengthen R&D funding, focus on adhesive science, bamboo treatment chemistry, durability enhancement, and green manufacturing technologies. Expand continuing professional development and higher education programs to include material science of engineered bamboo, process engineering, life cycle assessment, and sustainability engineering. Support MSMEs and farmer cooperatives with accessible training, equipment assistance, and manufacturing technology transfer. These House bills are visionary, technically grounded, and aligned with the Philippines' climate resilience and sustainable development goals. They create a comprehensive framework that promotes bamboo as a structural material, expands green manufacturing, and accelerates sustainable procurement across government institutions. With strengthened engineering participation, especially from the field of chemical engineering, the country can build a globally competitive bamboo industry, support rural livelihoods, and advance a resilient and low-carbon economy. The passage of both measures is strongly supported, with the above recommendations respectfully submitted to enhance their technical, environmental, and economic effectiveness. That's all, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Thank you po, Engineer Venus. Also from the United Architects of the Philippines, Architect Jed de Guzman. Yes, sir, you have the floor po, Ms. Architect.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. On behalf of the United Architects of the Philippines, Committee on the Environment and Ecology, and the Philippine Bamboo Project Special Committee, we strongly support House Bill number 157 and 3577, recognizing bamboo as a renewable, culturally significant, and climate resilient material for the built environment. We differ also with the same comment of Architect Mike Guerrero from the PRB Board of Architecture, and also Dean Architect Silvestre Senio for in part as a part of the Architecture for Education. But for UAP, PBP, SC, and also the Ecology Department, we would like to highlight one of the key items in our position paper, item number 6, utilization and market adaptation. So, based on this, we recommend implementation of a phase substitution, because right now the market for bamboo is towards market substitution. Steel to bamboo, wood to bamboo, and other products into bamboo. So that's why we call it a market substitution. And we can only do this under phased, but not totally, so 30, 40, and 50% for the procurement. And then establishment of the procurement criteria to avoid substandard bamboo, which we agree on with DTI, and then also with DPWH on the code. And on a side note, for market substitution, China owns 76% of the global market for bamboo products. The composition of what they are selling in the global market is actually 56% of their products are actually paper-based products. These are tissue, what we are eating right now, utensils and all of that. So there is lessons to be learned on how China approached their procurement. So with the procurement of the government, of course, we have the furniture and all of that, but these items should also, or the low-hanging fruit should also be included in the procurement, because this one, there will be utilization for the consumable products, and then the other low-hanging, the higher price products like the engineered bamboo and all of that would follow. So a strong branding for what Philippine bamboo product is should be needed, and I think DTI and also our other resource speakers here would also agree. And then let me tell you a story of the difficulties at the field when doing bamboo structures. So when clients go to us to design bamboo, this bill actually supports all of the pain points that architects are facing when having clients going and building bamboo. So the first one is, of course, where is the source of bamboo? And if we do have the source, how do we ensure the quality of bamboo, which the bill actually answers with the code? And then once you have the bamboo, okay, what's the treatment? Where do we get the technology for it? And then who assures the standards for this? So this bill answers that. And then when designing with bamboo, the bill actually answers, okay, we have the structural code, and I would agree with DPWH on the architecture, or for the architectural code. It should not be singled out as the only option, because there are also wood, there's also rattan, and then other products. So maybe a more softer approach for the architectural code as a material would be more appropriate. And then lastly, monitoring and how do we check. So here comes the OSTFPRDI. So when joining bamboo, the strength of the joints is very crucial, but there is also how do the whole, for example, this whole room or this whole structure behave under stress or under earthquake. So in Japan, they're testing 1:1, meaning an actual model of a house being destroyed under magnitude 9 under laboratory testing. So this is systems testing
versus joint testing. So right now, the Philippines, I think the OST also has this, that we need systems testing. There are a lot of research on joint testing, but we don't have systems testing. So these are some pain points that I think the House bills will be able to address, and this will be under a UAP position paper. We've written it out there. All right. So that's all for me. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Architect De Guzman. To all our, yes, Ma'am Sonia Olivares, you're recognized.
As an addendum to Architect Guerrero and De Guzman had mentioned, all plans are signed and sealed for the protection of the public and the end user. I would like to mention that the interior designers are mandated also to put a seal and a signature in all our designs, whether it's furniture, ceiling system, or wall paneling. We sign to protect the public, like the architects do. That's why I've been requesting, please put interior design.
Thank you, ma'am. That's duly noted po. You're included po in our technical working group. That's why to all our research speakers po, we understand all your suggestions, your comments, and just to remind all of you to block off your schedules po, we are inviting all of you to join our first TWG meeting for this specific agenda for the House Bill. Anong House Bill po ba to? Yeah, for measures on the bamboo for a sustainable built environment, and that's on December 4, 1:30 p.m. po, Thursday. Thank you. 1 p.m. 1 p.m. We will send formal communications na lang po to all of you. Again, thank you, and on measures na. We shall now go to the second main agenda on measures mandating government agencies to allocate 25% of their furniture and fixtures budget for bamboo-based products as follows: House Bills 159 and 5430. May I call on the Honorable Ana Velosa Tuazon to sponsor the said measure.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. In the interest of time as well, I move that the explanatory notes of House Bill numbers 159 and 5430 be adopted as the sponsorship speech for both.
There is no objection. The sponsorship is adopted.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Considering as well that there were comments earlier on the need for a phased approach in the procurement referred to in these measures. I move that these likewise be tackled in the technical working group meeting that's going to be scheduled on December 4 at 1 p.m.
There's no objection. The motion is carried. Any other motion?
We'd like to hear now from
Okay. Okay, thank you, Honorable Ana Veloso Tuazon. Now we have Mr. Russell Smith as our guest to speak about bamboo. I heard you're one of our producers of bamboo and a friend of Kong Joman. Welcome to the House of Representatives, sir. You have the floor, and you may share your inputs on bamboo production. Good morning.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. Hello, my name is Russell Smith, and I represent Rhizome. And Rhizome's based in Cagayan de Oro, and there we're engineering bamboo for the built environment. So your committee is very important, the work that you're doing, because the built environment needs clarity and less uncertainties, right? And your bill could provide that quite significantly. Imagine engineered bamboo as part of the building code, as part of the structural code. Imagine it as a solution for high carbon building. Imagine it as an innovation for economic development across the Philippines. It's happening now. It's happening through private sector partnership with agencies and with universities and with associations. So if we could do it together at a legislation level, we're all supportive, and we thank you very much for all of your thought, leadership, and perseverance, because I know this is it's a process, right? I did create a few slides, and if you're willing to take a little bit of time with me, I can walk you through a few slides of what's happening at Rhizome as we bring engineered bamboo to the marketplace. So is that okay, I think? All right, very good. So it's behind us. The name of our company is Rhizome, and Rhizome, as you may know, is the root network of the bamboo. So when you think about a bamboo plant or a bamboo clump, you probably think about the poles above ground. But we ask you to think about what's below ground, and those are the rhizomes. And the rhizomes, once you plant one and once it gets established, it lasts for generations. You can cut a pole and another one comes back. That's because of the power of the rhizome. So we use that as our brand name, but we're all about bamboo. And we came to the Philippines because the Philippines really has some of the finest bamboo on the planet. Your tropical, fast-growing, clumping bamboos are ideal for building materials. They're great for other products as well, but for building materials, they're excellent. They have high density, they have flexural strength, they process beautifully. So we came here to the Philippines because of the bamboo, but then, of course, we met all of you, and today we're happy to say that we have close to 100 people working in creating engineered bamboo products every day. So we see it through a lens around the SDGs. So everything we measure and do within Rhizome is about, can we create and help be part of a decent work environment and creating economic growth? Could we support processes towards zero hunger, reduction in poverty? Can we help with innovation? Can we do new product development using bamboo? And then lastly, can we, and importantly, be part of the climate solution? So we measure almost everything we do through SDGs, and these are some of our focus areas. And it's all possible because of the Philippines and the way bamboo grows in the Philippines. So our vision is to create a reliable supply of bamboo And we do that through planting working forest of bamboo. So we're creating engineered products, but we're also planting and growing bamboo for the future. And these are a few pictures of our operation today. These are from the first district of Bukidnon, so Kang Alba and his amazing people that have these giant bamboos, and they're ready and able to sustainably cut the bamboo and then deliver it to the Rhizome plant. And at Rhizome, we focus in on lumber products. But as has already been mentioned in this conference, and I'm sure many of your meetings, bamboo is wonderful for housewares, great for tissue uses, disposables, forks and knives, chopsticks, toothpicks, even clothing, right? It's a great fiber. So we like to think about it at Rhizome as a lumber product, but it has so many uses. So this value chain that you're a part of creating around lumber products, really important, but there's a lot of derivatives that come from it as well. So from a sustainable development perspective, you couldn't ask for a better fiber. Works for lumber, works for tissue, works for disposable forks and knives. It even works for ethanol and all kinds of other things. But at Rhizome, we're focusing in on claddings and doors and stairs and panels. The next slide, please. Interior outfitting, exterior, and even civic scale projects. These are all happening today in the Philippines because of the amazing tropical bamboos in the Philippines. We make glulam beams, we make panels, we make columns, and we're doing these throughout the country from Mindanao all the way to Samar and across here to Luzon. So it's starting, it's at early stages, and the work that you're doing will only accelerate it. And then if someday in the future, as we develop more and more bamboo, we can use it for sustainable aviation fuel feedstock, for biochar, for soil restoration, even ethanol. Rhizome today powers its manufacturing facility using biopellets made from bamboos. And so it has a lot of full range of applications. Our journey ourselves with bamboo started about 30 years ago with a company called Bamboo Living. That's our sister company based in Vietnam. In Vietnam, we use the bamboo pole to make houses, prefabbed houses that are panelized at a factory in Ho Chi Minh City and then sent mostly to the United States. And that's where we learned how to make bamboo durable. And also, that's how we got bamboo into the U.S. Building Code. So in the United States, that doesn't have any bamboo. Bamboo is in the Structural Building Code. Why is that? Because of public-private partnership. So if we can come in and partner with you as legislatures and as advocates for the bamboo industry, I'm sure we can show the marketplace that bamboo is strong, durable, long-lasting, and a great addition to your to the economy. Rhizome's focus is on making columns and beams and floor systems and a variety of high-end engineered products out of the bamboo. That just happens to be our specialty, but there's plenty of space for everyone to participate in a bamboo economy. And why is Rhizome focused in on bamboo for structure? Because we know it has the strength of steel. Matter of fact, it's 3 times stronger than structural steel based on testing and results that we have from Base Baha'i here in Manila. Next slide, please. It also has higher compression than concrete. So these fibers, even though are grass and even though they regenerate, they have the strength of steel and the compression values of concrete. And with that kind of strength and with that kind of compression, you can make beams, you can make columns, and you can make all kinds of panels. So I brought a small sample with me. We'll pass it around. This is a bamboo. This is Kawayan tinic, condensed into a composite panel. And it's gives you a sample, very small sample, but you can feel the density. You can do the knock test on it to hear the density itself. So this is Kawayan tinic. I think first time ever made into a composite product, and that's being done today in CDO. Okay. And that'll allow us to make beams and columns. It allows us to replace WPC. It provides an alternative to plastic products. And then this one is another version. This is the giant asper. This is Dendrocalamus asper, again made into a column or a beam. It's called a glulam. And so I'll pass this around. This is another one of the amazing species of bamboo in the Philippines. So not only is it just one species, right? There are 2 species that have higher densities and bigger capacities for structural engineered products than any other species on the planet. Okay. It also can give you fire assurance. We've been working in Los Baños, right, on ignition, on combustion, and then the next step together is we'll be doing flame spread, but in our own labs, it will char before it burns. And this is extremely important to take away. This bamboo will char first before it will burn. And that charring is what gives it the 2-hour fire code rating, because it'll char first and gives you plenty of time to evacuate the building in case of fire. And even though it's a grass, and even though we think about it as a Bahay Kubo or maybe a toothpick, it actually can be engineered into a product that will meet fire codes because it chars first. So very important takeaway. And then really important is that it's almost like buy one, take one. There's 1.8 kilos of carbon sequestered in every kilo of engineered bamboo, almost a 2-4. So that what that means is for every kilo of carbon that we use to make a beam, every kilo of bamboo that we use to make a beam, we're storing 1.8 kilos of carbon dioxide. So we've removed it from the atmosphere and we've long-term sequestered it into beams and columns. So now the Philippines is not only providing nature-based low-carbon building materials, but you're actually a carbon sink. You're removing carbon from the atmosphere and you're storing it in the built environment. So that is a huge impact to decarbonizing the Philippine construction industry and the world. And so we want you to please keep that in mind as you look at legislation and how do we also include carbon sequestration in the sustainable codes. Next slide, please. Let me take you through a few pictures of what we've been doing together with the Philippine community in CDO. Next slide, please. Here's some what I call my favorite projects. This was at the UAP. Next slide, please. This was at UAP's annual conference this year. We were looking for a way to express bamboo beyond columns and beams. So we were like, what are we trying to say to the world? We're trying to say that bamboo is actually part of the Philippine DNA. And when we thought about that way, we thought about the double helix of the DNA helix. So we created a glue lamb, all out of engineered bamboo, shaped or at least inspired by the double helix. And this is a structural column and beam. And so we can do linear columns and beams, but we can also do creative shapes. So for example, on the next slide is a beach club in Siargao, and they created rounded curved beams made out of bamboo. So these bamboo beams were designed in Makati, installed in Siargao, but made by Rhizome and CDO from bamboo from Bukidnon. So it's already showing you this cross-country collection of innovation and product development, creating beautiful, innovative beach clubs in Siargao, which is now a kind of an iconic structure developing in Siargao. Next slide. This is more everyday. So this is bamboo used as cladding for columns. So here we make sheets of bamboo, 4x8 panels, and then we wrap them around existing concrete columns. And the solution here is that instead of bringing in PVC plastics from China, we're now using Philippine-made veneers to clad these columns. There's so much PVC plastics imported from China for cladding materials, but today we can start using natural materials made here in the Philippines out of bamboo that's engineered for long-lasting durability, it's price affordable, and it can be deployed at scale. And then above on the ceilings, we see planks. These are the ubiquitous ceiling planks that are almost everywhere these days in public spaces. They're very flexible, they're easy to install, and these are all made out of bamboo. And they're installed here as a ceiling baffle, which is a noise abatement material, but also a decorative application. Next slide, please. This slide shows you how we can bend these bamboos. So that flexural strength is combined with a lot of flexibility. So you can, even though it has the strength of steel and the compression of concrete, we can still curve it, which you can't do with other types of materials. So this is a unique factor of nature-based solutions. They still follow and are flowing and curve. Next slide, please. Here's an example of planks. Each plank here is 8 feet long, and they're installed like any other building material. So we're talking about engineered bamboo that looks like plywood, looks like lumber because it is plywood, it is lumber, it's dimensional, it's designed to be easy to use, it's designed to be familiar for the contractors and especially for the architects and the engineers. They're already familiar with this format of building materials, but now we're doing it with nature-based solutions here in the Philippines out of engineered bamboo. Next slide. Here's a project we're working now in Laguna. We're doing all the cladding for a mall that's being built. So instead of bringing in plastics from China, the developer selected bamboo made in CDO with bamboo from Bukidnon and now being installed in Laguna to create nature-based solutions in their mall. So here's some more interior applications where we do cladding. So it's already being used, engineered cladding materials. Next slide, please. Even furnitures, right? You can use it for making furniture. So it has a wide variety of uses in the built environment. Next slide, please. Here's another structural use of bamboo. We had this building, they didn't want any steel or concrete. We did decide to have a concrete foundation, but everything else from there structurally is bamboo. So bamboo columns and bamboo beams. Next slide, please. Here's another one. This is in Makati. This is our first residence that we're working on now. It's almost complete. These are engineered bamboo columns and beams in Makati. So we have acceptance in Mindanao, acceptance in Siargao, acceptance in Makati, working with licensed architects, licensed structural engineers, and with the LGU. So as it was noted earlier, it's really important that we bring the professions in and that the professions review this and they sign off on its structural capabilities, on its fire resistance, and its our application for architectural uses. More glulam's. So that gives you a variety of pictures of projects that Rhizome's doing today using the miraculous bamboos from the Philippines. And then lastly, I would say that maybe one or two slides more forward. Well, this next part of it is about our process, the manufacturing process. The key thing to take away is that not only do we like bamboo, but it also the book like bamboo, right? So we have to make it book resistance, and that's through a treatment process. So it's important that when we say engineered bamboo, we mean it's also been treated and processed so that we remove the starches and the sugars, so there's not anything for the bugs to eat or to live on, and that makes it long-lasting and durable. So when you hear the word engineered, please know that it means how it's processed is equally as important as how it's finished. So it's the steps around processing the fiber to make it sugar-free and less appealing to the bugs. And then we do that in CDO, and then we use the RoRo system to ship the products across the country. I think the final wrap-up I would say is that bamboo is miraculous for building materials, but it's also extremely important for reforestation. So Rhizome is the first company to receive international certification for reforesting with bamboo in the Philippines for carbon removal. And this is an important milestone because there's only two projects in the world that have been certified, one here in the Philippines. The one in the Philippines is the only one certified for bamboo, and bamboo is a carbon removal on the voluntary carbon markets. So not only is the Philippines leading with engineered bamboo, it's also leading with bamboo as a carbon removal. And so whatever work that can be done to smooth out regulations, to encourage the use of bamboo for reforestation, and to help simplify the carbon markets would be also appreciated. In the meantime, we're doing it step by step, and it's all happening here in the Philippines, and we're extremely grateful to be part of the bamboo development cycle here in the Philippines.
Thank you very much for a few minutes to share the story.
Cebu Pacific.
They will get their carbon trading. You're not yet.
And I'm not sure. I don't think I can say anything at this point. But we are. It's a great question. Thank you for the overall question is,
Well, who wants a carbon credit anyway? And well, what is a carbon credit? It's this invisible thing, right? So a carbon credit is 1 ton of atmospheric carbon removed from the air and put somewhere else. In our case, in Rhizome, we put it in the bamboo. And then the bamboo becomes a beam. So now we've taken 1 ton of carbon gases from the atmosphere and we've put it into a beam. And so some people want that, right? Such as Arthaland yesterday announced Project Beam, where they're using Rhizome columns and beams to build their first all-bamboo building as part of their sustainability strategy. And that's important to them because the embodied carbon of their new building will be almost zero because they'll be using bamboo as a low carbon solution. And then they know that they're encouraging the planting of bamboo that removes carbon. So it's companies like Arthaland, it's companies like airlines, it's companies like technology companies that are interested in carbon removal, and they want to buy carbon credits. And then if we also put it into long-lasting durable goods, they know that they can actually reduce the carbon that they expend on their buildings and make it lower. So Philippines has an opportunity to provide them two things, the material and then carbon removals. So it's a very exciting market because it's some of the biggest companies in the world that want to come to the Philippines, help reforest the Philippines and create a value chain around bamboo so that we can provide them with carbon offsets and carbon-free building materials. So it will work for many industries, and we're excited to be part of that as well.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Russell Smith, again from Rhizome. Thank you for sharing all your expertise and all the innovations you've had with bamboo. And again, are there any other comments from our resource speakers? Hearing none, just to remind everyone again, we have our first TWG meeting on December 4, 1 p.m. po on Thursday, and we will send formal invitations to your offices. Hearing none, the meeting is now adjourned. Wala nang Congress pa. Okay.
Sir, thank you very much. Ma'am, in-invite namin si Kong sa December 9. May photo exhibit tayo, ang committee. So, siyang magbibigay ng invocation. Sila,
may tayo, may papadala namin kayo yung program. Kaya lang we didn't want to print it muna kasi hindi pa siya namin naka-off.